Did you know that Fusion has a way to auto-constrain your sketches? Well, it does. So let's take a look. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Auto-Constrain command in Sketches. And there's some tips and tricks that kind of help with the Auto-Constrain command since it relies on AI technology to automatically dimension and constrain your sketch. There's some things you can do that kind of help it out. For example, in this sketch here, you'll notice that Fusion created the automatic constraints for me as I was creating this sketch, such as, the perpendicular constraints, there's a tangency constraint, a horizontal constraint, etc. But I did make a couple mistakes. For example, this line should be horizontal, but it's not. This point here should probably be lined up vertically with this. Now, the auto constrain command is not going to make assumptions that you want this line to be horizontal and that you want this line to be perfectly lined up. So that's where we're going to spend a little bit of time fixing those kind of issues first. So I'm going to go ahead and say like horizontal vertical. I might pick this point and say I want that to be vertical with that point there. I want these lines to be collinear with each other. I want them to stay in line with each other. And then finally, I want the circle to be concentric with the arc over here. So there, just really quickly, I added a couple constraints, but you'll notice that my sketch is still cyan. It has the edit icon next to it. You'll notice it doesn't have the lock symbol like this other sketch does. It has this edit icon, which means it's not fully constrained. To do that, I would have to come in here and add dimensions to all of these lines and points, etc., and that can take quite some time. So this is where the auto constrain command comes into play. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on that, and you can see that it quickly throws some dimensions on here. And it gives me a couple different results over here. You'll also notice it tells me that there's 13 constraints in this sketch. 0 were added to make it fully constrained. And then you'll notice that 6 dimensions were added to fully constrain it. And then I have 2 different results. And if I click on this secondary result, you can kind of see how some of the dimensions move around, and I get some slightly different results depending on what I click on. I could also click on Generate More and have it calculate a couple different solutions. For example, like this one here, I kind of like this one. I could hit Generate More and just have it, keep trying different dimension solutions to see if we get, like this one here does a radius for the outside, where this one did like an overall height. Which I kind of like. So I'm going to go ahead and use this result here. And I'll go ahead and say OK. Actually, you know what I want? Let me go ahead. I'm going to pick this one here because I want to show a cool little trick with these 2 dimensions here. So I'm going to pick this one. I'll go ahead and say OK. And now you'll notice that the sketch has a lock symbol next to it. And the lines are black, which means it's fully constrained. So it did what it needed to do to fully constrain our sketch. Now, obviously the dimensions are just like random dimensions because when I created my sketch, I just kind of drew the overall shape. I didn't type anything in. And so now I can come in and start editing. So for example, I might want this to be 35. I'll hit enter and you'll see my sketch updates accordingly. Now here's the cool little trick. I hope you know this. I want these 2 dimensions to be the same. So I'm just going to go ahead and double click on this dimension here. And then I can select this other dimension and you'll notice it's referencing it. And so when I hit enter, it now says FX 35. So it's referencing this dimension. So if I were to change that dimension to 30, you'll notice that that dimension also changes to 30. Okay, I'll just kind of keep walking around. Let's make this one 35. This hole is an important diameter. I want that to be exactly 60. The radius here, let's make that 50, like so. And then this length here, let's just make that an even 100. And I now have a fully constrained sketch that I didn't have to add all the dimensions to and figure out which dimensions do I need to add to make it fully constrained. I didn't get any of those "you've over constrained your sketch" warning messages or anything like that. So it's kind of a cool way to quickly create your sketch and then have it figure out what needs to be added to create a fully constrained sketch. So here's another quick example of this. I'm just going to go ahead and draw a quick shape. And I might purposely, make some mistakes here as I'm drawing this bracket. I'm just going to kind of get the basic shape that I want, like so, and like that. Okay, so there's my bracket. Okay, now if I expand open my sketches, you'll notice obviously it's not fully constrained. If I were to hit automate right now, you're going to see it's going to throw a bunch of dimensions on here, right? Different angles, etc. But it's going to try and constrain this sketch. So you can see it needed to add 13 dimensions in this example. If I'll click on this one here, you can kind of see the different results. Now obviously this is a really ugly sketch. So before I do this auto constrain, I'm going to probably come in here and fix some of these. Like I want that line to be vertical. Let's make some of these perpendicular with each other, like that one. I want that line and that line to be perpendicular with each other. I want these lines to be parallel with each other. Same with these guys. And same with those two. Okay, so now I've kind of evened out my sketch here. Now if I run automate, you'll notice I get a much cleaner version of my sketch. So let's just take a look at the different results. So I'm getting kind of like overall width, some angle, total length here, total height, and then the length here. Let's just kind of go through and kind of see some of the different options. I kind of like this one. Let's go ahead and hit generate more. And I'll just take a look at some of the different options here. And you'll notice like sometimes they really don't, there's really nothing different between the two because it just really can't calculate anything different. I kind of like the result number 2. And you'll notice that there's a little lock symbol here saying that this is a fully constrained sketch. And then we also have this slider right here where I can say, let's not add as many dimensions. So if I bring this down, you're going to see it's going to start dropping some of the dimensions. But you'll also notice it's no longer fully constrained. So now I kind of have just a couple overall dimensions, but you can kind of see some of the edges are not fully constrained. I'm going to go ahead and crank it all the way up so it is fully constrained. I'll go ahead and let me point out one more thing in here. You'll see these 3 little dots. And this probably isn't the best sketch to represent this, but you can say set datum. And this allows you to pick a point on your sketch to specify the datum location. So now everything is kind of being measured from this point over in that direction. If I did that again, I said set datum and I pick this point here, everything is kind of being measured from this point. So it allows you to specify a specific datum point if you want. Okay, another thing that you can do, you'll notice this is fully constrained. If I came in and said, you know what, I'm going to select that dimension and hit delete, you'll notice that it's now unlocked. Okay, and then it also says refresh. So I could come in and get rid of a couple of these dimensions like so, and then hit refresh, and it's going to recalculate. So instead of doing that dimension from here to here, I told it I really don't like that. I don't want that kind of a dimension. It recalculated and threw the dimension from here to here. Okay. So, and then by getting rid of that angle dimension, it's now trying to measure, different points and all that kind of stuff. So you can kind of control how this thing gets calculated. So here's result number 3. You can kind of see there was that overall dimension, there was that overall angle. So let me just go ahead and delete just that guy. I'll leave the angle in there, and I'll say refresh, and now you'll notice it's adding a dimension from here to here, and it left that angle dimension there. So you have a little bit of control over how these dimensions are being created. You're not limited to just these results that it gave you. You can come in and select and remove any of them and then refresh to get a slightly cleaner result. So I'm going to go ahead and say OK. And now I have a fully constrained sketch. It's kind of hard to see because it's blue on there. But I'm going to start driving some of these dimensions. So let me just say I want that to be 25 millimeters. I'm going to do the exact same thing I did before. I want this to be the same as that. So I'm going to click on it and reference it. And then same thing with this guy. I'm going to reference that dimension there. And now if we were to change that to be 35, our whole bracket thickness changes accordingly. I'll set that back to 25, and you can see how that updates accordingly. Let's change this angle to be 135. Let's set this to be 100. And let's set this guy to be 150. Now, I don't like this overall height dimension, so I'm going to click on it and hit delete. And you'll notice that some of my lines have turned blue. So it's no longer fully constrained. I can run the Auto Constrain command again, and of course it's going to try and put that dimension in there. But I can go through and click on some of these other options, some of these other results, and here I get a dimension that kind of goes the length of this edge, which I kind of like better. So I'm going to accept that, and let's just make that equal to that. And now I have a fully constrained sketch. You can see the lock symbol there. I didn't have to create all of these dimensions. It did it for me using the Auto Constrain command. Okay, and then my last example where I find Auto Constrain to be really handy. Here I have a sketch that I'm going to revolve around this center line right here. And as we take a look at this sketch, you can see that all of the lines look black, like they're fully constrained. But if I were to open my sketches folder, we can see that there's the pencil icon, basically saying that this is not a fully constrained sketch. But I have dimensions going to all of these points. This is an offset command, so a 3mm offset. I mean, everything looks correct to me, but for whatever reason, Fusion does not think that this is a fully constrained sketch, and I have no idea why. And this is where I think this command really pays for itself. I'm going to go ahead and click on it, and notice where it put the dimension. It's actually on my center line. So believe it or not, the center line needs to be dimensioned for it to be a fully constrained sketch. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And who cares what this length is? I'll just say 100 or something like that. But now we can see that that sketch is fully constrained. So believe it or not, I'm going to undo. Believe it or not, it was because of this center line right here that I started. That was the very first line that I drew, was the center line, and then I started drawing my profile off of that and dimensioned everything off of that. Because we're dimensioning everything off of that, it kind of needs to know what is the total length of this, where is it in space, all that kind of stuff. So just using the Auto Constrain command, I'll say OK. I'll set that to be whatever number I want it to be. I'll just say 100 in this case. And now we can see that we have a fully constrained sketch, which is ready for our revolute command. And there we go. I hope you learned something new and enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe to be notified of upcoming videos. If you need help learning Fusion, visit my webpage at cadedllc.com. And as always, have fun learning Fusion.